Hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for showing up. This is going to be a little bit different. This is in the field. we're at an early 18th century house in Maine, and there's some old plaster that got uncovered during a little bit of a renovation that was going on, and we want to try to keep it in place as best we can. It's on pre-revolutionary lath. This room isn't the oldest room in the house, but this is one of the earliest additions to the house, and it happened before the revolution. And there's very early lath on the walls with a very, very thin skim of plaster over it. A lot of it's still there, but there are pieces missing almost everywhere. And so our mission in this project is to try to fill in the missing pieces of plaster so they don't look awful. So that they keep the wind from blowing through, like you can imagine it does, and allow us to get a level of finish. Not perfect, not pretty, but finish. It's all clean and filled. No holes, right? That's what we're looking for. No holes. Nothing that when you come through with the vacuum cleaner, that you don't have to vacuum up afterward. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the room, pull some stuff out of the way, and then do some prep work, and then do some patching. I'm not the best plasterer. As a matter of fact, I'm not even the best plasterer on the crew, but I'm the only, it's my turn. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. This piece of wall got shattered. The lath is still here. It's old lath. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. I don't know where it's nailed. I just don't want to touch it. I don't want to loosen it. I don't want to do anything to it. So I've got a concrete admixture. It's for bonding different kinds of cement products together. And I believe that it's polyvinyl acetate. Could be an acrylic. I don't know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some on the edges of the plaster that exists, under the hopes that if I get my new plaster to touch this stuff and come in contact with it, it will stick a little bit better along the edge, won't just dry out and leave a powdered film that will never bond. I'm not hoping for great, but I'd like a little. And I want to improve the modern plaster doesn't go on top of this, and I'm not going to use lime and hair. So I'm using this to wet the lath so that it won't absorb too much water and interfere with the set of my plaster, and maybe it'll stick a little bit better also. It's very, very thin. Now we've got a problem down here where someone's already patched this. Let me bring it in tight. Okay, so I've got a problem here. Someone's already patched this, and it's just loose. It's not stuck. It's just like mine's not going to be stuck. So I'm going to yank it off. Now I can tell it's a patch because the surface texture is different, but here's this terrific little tell also. See this, how this is white? When someone patches over old dry lath with lime plaster, this is lime and hair back in the day, the water gets absorbed by the dry lath and it brings with it some of the fines in the lime, and so you get this white staining. So if we were to take this whole wall down, which we're not, but if we were to take the wall down, you would be able to see every place where someone came by in the Victorian period and patched the plaster. Anyway, I've got some thin spots, and I got some spots that are just plain loose. And this is going to remain. Okay, so more bonding agent. I don't know how far I'm going to take this, but I may as well put it on as if I was going to go around and do all the edges and cracks. I don't think that's my job, but I may end up having to do that to make this wall look good. I'm going to try to wiggle some of this material down inside here. Not so much that that's going to somehow glue, but down below it, it might. Now I've got another spot a little bit lower. Let me bring it down there. I'm going to be plastering on my hands and knees. Oh. Anyway, okay. There's a spot down here. It's same story. It's new story. This is repair plaster from here down, but there's a spot right here which is pinched. Probably, I know that they've moved the floor here, repaired the old beams. This probably cracked when the beam rotted and this thing fell. They've pushed it back up after this was patched. I mean, we're looking at hundreds of years of stuff happening here. Anyway, this is a mess, and it's never going to go back. And I don't know what to do. It's coming off. It's just going to come off. Tools. All right. This is a handy tool. Put underneath. This is broken. The part that slips in between the split boards is called the key, and the key has been pushed out and twisted, and it won't go back in between the two boards. And I'm going to cut it away. Until it goes back. Not looking forward to this. Something happened here. Something ugly. That's good. That's good and tight. This is good. All right. And that's going to go in. All right. I think that's taken care of. Now I can see what I can do. A little bonding agent in the areas that I just exposed. All right, let's see where that goes. I'm gonna throw some little patches over these big holes so I don't throw too much plaster away. And I'll get to that. Okay, so the pieces that I'm going to work on first, you saw, is very, very, very thin plaster. I can't mimic that with the base coat plaster that I commonly use. So I'm going to use some pre-mixed finishing plaster and called Unical, whatever that is, and I am going to mix some sand in with it, which is not exactly how it's meant to be used, and I don't know really how it's going to work out. I've seen people do this. This is classic YouTube. You're watching someone do something that's never done it before. This is not true, but it's close. I've been a co-conspirator, but I've never been the guy in charge. This is interesting. All right, well, that's going to be for right now. That's as much trouble as I need to get into. Now some sand. Whoa. Don't close the knife on your finger, Dave. All right. Now, sand. That's going to be just right. How would I know that? And now some water. Probably need more, but I'll start with that. I'm going to need lots more. Good. That's more water than I would have expected. But I got plenty. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Cool. Look at me go. This should be semi-creamy. Not quite toothpaste, but more than, creamier than cottage cheese. Looks good. All right, get some of that on the hot. and away we go. I think a little more dash or two of water. I don't want to have to push too hard. If I have to push really hard, I'll just be pushing it into the cracks between the lath. That's good. So if this works, it means 50 batches of that. Let's see what it looks like on the wall. Let me get some on the hawk, I guess. I think that's going to be all right. See what it looks like. All right, put this down. Camera. All right, let's start at the top. Bit of a long shot. Well, so far, not that I've tried very hard, but I got to here. Now, I've got to stop fooling with this stuff. Get it on, get the joints filled out. After it starts to set up a little bit, I'll have an opportunity, if I'm quick, to get in here and do a little straightening out. and get some of the sandy areas off the existing plaster so that I won't be making it thicker than it needs to be. Which right here isn't a huge problem, but when we get around the other side of the house, we're up to window casings, which aren't very thick, aren't sticking into the room very far. It's going to be an issue. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. The young Kohai said he might come by. I'll have him do all the low work. That'll be good. All right, gaining. The reason for the sand is twofold. One, it will help match the texture of the existing plaster. The other is that this stuff isn't really engineered to put on very thick. So putting the sand in helps not so much fill it out to more being thicker, but it keeps it from shrinking so much. Because the sand grains don't shrink. Pretty simple. This crack right here, I'm going to wait till later when I've got some really thin putty, and I'll put that putty in that joint. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Okay, that's the last of this batch. Now the question is, how much more do I make? When do I start going over this? At a certain point I want to bring out some water and spray it out to make the surface a little bit slicker. I want to get this edge a little bit cleaner. All kinds of things I want to do. It's nice to have things that you want to do. Well, what I need you to do is make another batch. Let's go do that.